Oh boy. Okay, I had something better recorded. Well, slightly, but it got interrupted, so I didn't feel like editing it down. Okay, editing it down. But let's go ahead and do this again. So, wanted to read this off here right quick. Disclosed TV. I know they're kind of cringe. They're probably not that good. They also have a Telegram page, so that kind of tells you the level of. But basically, just in, about a dozen members of the National Guard now relieved of duty ahead of the presidential inauguration due to vetting. So basically, anyone that holds more right-wing views or, this sort of thing is going to be, you know, they're going to go back to their unit. I guess they get to go home, I guess, because they're, National Guard. They're not going to do anything too wild and crazy. But anyway, I think that, this is one of the issues. Now, of course, like I say, the anarchists and the folks that are really going out there, exposing the far right. The folks that are really going out there exposing the far right will say, well, neo-Nazis have always been in the military. There's so-and-so guy or this guy or, so-and-so. So these beliefs have always been there. And I think ultimately, I think that they do have a point. The thing is, though, I think that it's just going to be kept to a much more hushed murmur in terms of, well, let's not really talk about it and everything else. And in general, it really isn't talked about as much. Same thing with gangs and everything else that, exist. Overall, the U.S. military doesn't want to do that. They need bodies regardless. They don't care what sort of affiliation they have as long as, yeah. So it's a different sort of issue, but it kind of comes more to the idea of political reliability. And in the first one, I talk more about the shift of the political commissars, the politruks in the Red Army, and how much power they had versus that changing in 1942 and 43. By 1944, you had the German Wehrmacht doing the same type of thing. And so they had something called these National Socialist Leadership Officers. And they maintained, discipline maybe, and, instill ideological conviction and reinforce combat morale through training lessons and teaching. They had no direct influence on combat decisions and as had the political commissar in the Soviet Army. 1,100 full-time and 47,000 part-time. By the end of 1944, overall control of General Hermann Reinecke, commander of the National Socialist Leadership Staff at the OKW. And to say the least is that he got away pretty much. He just, he spent the rest of his life in jail as far as I know. It sounds like he got, I'm just reading here a little bit. His sentence was, he was released in October 1954. Okay, so he was released and he lived out to the old age of 85. I was going to say 19. No, 85. 85 is when he passed away on 10 October 1973. So there you go. But I think that it's an interesting point of view, I think, to say the least, the idea of political reliability. And like I say, we have to be careful of these comparisons. This now, I think overall, I think that it won't be as much of an issue, but I think that there will be more vetting and much more vetting for political reliability in time. I think that's definitely going to become an issue in some cases at the higher up level of the Biden administration. I think that it's always that way to a point, but I think it's going to be much more obvious now. So yeah, I think it is interesting to say the least what's going to happen with this. I think that's all I really have to say. But I think that it's just ridiculous to me. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Sorry for the crapo commentary on that, but basically, political reliability has always been an issue, and I think that necessarily is that people will believe things up to a point, but do they really mean it, or is it just lip service? I think, like I say, political reliability is a much deeper issue than anything else. It's like there will be anarchists who, may believe, that some people can be reformed and whatnot. So, yeah. Or you'll have MLs who will hold more reactionary views and be more, conservative, at least in some ways, socially conservative. But it's like, so, like I say, I mean, political reliability, that's kind of I hate to use that term, but, to say that it's vetting, come on. It's testing people for political reliability. And so we're going to see more of it. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Kind of crapo commentary, but I figure I put it out and let the rest of my audience know. Hope y'all enjoyed that. See you later. Goodbye.